towards April, and as we are progressing towards this pretty interesting week here, I'm looking at some instrument to trade in the market. Thank you very much for joining here. I'd like to see that all members are here. Can you say yes when you are here? Can you hear me and the stream is on? Thank you. Thank you very much. Awesome. Cool. Very good. Thank you for joining here. Good to see all of you are here. And this is the first day of trading week. As you guys can see that it's the first day of trading, and first day is important because this is what I'm looking at here in this market. We have few instrument getting pretty volatile. Now, first of all, I would like to start with the calendar. We will be looking at what's coming up. Based on that, we understand that what might happen later today. Coming up, there's a speech coming from Fed Chair Powell. So that's that will increase the volatility, which is at 1:30 a.m. in my zone, which is around so around 3 hours from now. We might be just before our ending our live session, but you will get a pretty good understanding of what might be happening with that upcoming news that we are looking at. And also we have few red folder news. We'll be looking at that to see how the market might be evolving around that. And also we are looking at here from the multiple time frame analysis to see where the market is potentially be heading. Thank you very much. Welcome. So, welcome. Now, looking at, thank you for joining, one FX trader, and this is cool to see that. Make sure also you like this stream and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so that you are not missing any of the content that I am posting every day. Cool. Now, going to this here, I'm looking at, we will be doing first of all the technical analysis. We are going to look at from the both fundamental as well as the technical perspective in the market to see that where the market is heading. Here we will be looking at XAUUSD, and also we'll be looking at DXY analysis to see USD JPY. We saw that there was some kind of bearish move here on dollar yen, while WTI that you can see it's heading. So first of all, let's look at gold here that we can see. And if you look at, I'm going to look at the overall market structure. This is the first candlestick pattern. So we will be looking at first of all the technical analysis, and then we will be also looking at other time frame. So if you look at here, this is, if you look at, this is XAUUSD, and the 4-hour chart here that you can see there was a pretty long week price action. Okay, so with this long week candlestick pattern from the first 4 hour here, in the first session of the Asian opening, there has been a significant long week candlestick pattern formation that you can see here in this market. And with this long week candlestick pattern, the market has closed above, passing that zone, and with this going back to that zone here, the market has closed above. Later we can see the market has created another bullish engulfer here in that area. Now with this bullish engulfer, currently the market structure that you can see here in that zone created a pretty stronger bullish impulse that you can see, and that is what you can looking at here in this market, that the price action may eventually continue to rise here back above to create a new higher high. So the overall trend that you can see in this market is bullish, and with this bullish trend we are looking at this market to remain upside, as it is a long-term uptrending market structure. So that being said, looking at from this support level, which is a key level, bounce, pullback, another bounce, deeper pullback, and we can see that another bounce. So the market structure here we can see is in this uptrend here, and we may see that especially this intraday support is quite important, because these are the levels that we might be able to see the market is showing up and then breaking out. So the current level that we are looking at for this market to potentially to bounce back up 4525 or lower, and it is approaching this key level of resistance, and with this key level they're expecting the market to respect that support and then to return back towards the upside, as there is a significant imbalance here in that zone. And with this imbalance that we are looking at here on this lower time frame, this is a support level. They're expecting the market to continue to rise here in that direction of this trend that we are looking to see. So if you look at, now I'm looking at this very lower time frame, this is the 5-minute chart, and in that lower time frame this is another support area, and with this support area, which is support here, and also support here, with this support they're expecting the market to come back below here, potentially to pull back and then to give us that bounce. So from the technical perspective that we are seeing this market to remain bullish for the longer term picture here in this market. So I'm going to the 1-minute chart. As you can see here, some rejection coming off this level, and that rejection is significant, expecting there to drop further lower and then to potentially trend back here above to this support level, to this level, to create a new higher high in this market. So we are looking at in those areas. So the current trend line that you can see here, the lower time frame trend line is here, which is the intraday or the lower time frame 1-minute trend line that you would like to see the market is coming to test. And off that trend line, if we see that the trend line has had a break here below, we are looking at this market to eventually break above, and that is what we are looking to enter for this session here in this market. Thank you very much, and let me know, guys, how are you doing today in your trading. Thank you very much. And what's your bias today on gold? Where you are looking at gold? And if you look at, we looked at the technical aspect here. We also will be looking at the fundamental as well as the sentiment, as there is a speech coming later today that might create some movement, and this is what here I'm looking at for an entry back here in this market. So let me know in the live chat, and I'm also posting a poll to see because poll is helpful. So what is your bias today on gold, and from the lower time frame and higher time frame, before we look at any entry. What is your bias on gold? And that will be definitely a big milestone to see So are you bullish on gold today, or you think that the market has moved up? We could see pullback deeper. So I've shared a poll, and if you cast a vote, that will create a better understanding of how. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Make sure you cast here a vote on the poll. Thank you. So you see that it's going on. More and more members are joining. Cool. Thank you. And so this is today is the first day of trading week. Awesome. Make sure you cast a vote on the poll. And now we see that technically so far we are looking at an upside momentum here. Okay, so technical, and you see that we had a very high win rate only because we trade differently, guys. And you see that in the academy as well as in the live session we trade differently. So why we trade differently? We not only depends on the indicator, candlestick pattern, not only depend on what it is, but also depend on the sentiment, because all those trading decisions come from human, right? Though we in some traders use AI, but still a human need to think about it, right? So that decision comes mostly from the emotion. So that is why the sentiment is so important in trading than anything else, because I have seen that over long experience, sentiment play a crucial role, because you can't ignore emotion, especially in trading or even in any aspect of human life. So emotion is very important, is the life, right? Is the life force of human being. The emotion drives the action, right? Though you don't know or don't know. So therefore, if we look at, I'm looking at now some of the current, I see the volatility now. So there is some volatility has come out. Trump on Iran will completely obliterate all of Iran's electric generating plants, oil wells, and Karg Island is a deal is not reached. Okay, so there is a statement came from Donald Trump. So he was saying that is going to completely obliterate all of Iran's electric generating plants. So that means that all of them, oil wells and Karg Island, if a deal is not reached. So that means this is, we must see volatility here. Yeah, so this is the reason why there was a volatility. You see that as soon as the news came out, and that's why I keep eye for those kind of important high impact news, because the market was in a sideways. See that quite a while, and I was waiting for an entry since the late London session, and it was in a sideways, and suddenly there is a breakout. Now this is the reason why the breakout has come. Now this is and that's why you can see this is a free anyway, the news side, if you are not sure about. So why it brings the volatility, it also, you need to understand that how the sentiment play a role, how you can analyze. So sentiment analysis is a part of trading. I have also an artificial intelligence for analyzing the sentiment, but I try to do it always manually, because we can do the technical analysis by if you need any kind of tool, you can do it, but the sentiment analysis that I always prefer doing manually, because that artificial intelligence doesn't have emotion. So if you look at here with the with this kind of breaking news, how you can integrate in your trading, how you can analyze, how you can look at the gist in it, that will give you a better directional bias. Because when you are entering the trade, either you are trading crypto, US 30, Nasdaq, Bitcoin, gold, euro dollar, British pound, US dollar, same sentiment, same news will play the same kind of role, because there is only one news but 100 instrument. So that's why it is so important, either you're a swing trader, day trader, scalper, absolutely important to know that how you can implement that component of those breaking news in your trading. So why this, let's understand that why the market has reacted to this impact, and for the next one, if there is anything how you can trade that, how you can use in your trading, that's what we are looking at. So from that, what I understand that if there's the deal is not reached, then there might be some kind of operation or attack on electric generating plant, oil wells, and Carg Island. So that definitely very that might be, Iran might be in, or in that region there might be very difficult situation may create or may happen. So therefore, if the deal is not reached, then there might be some kind of difficult situation coming in. So, and that's what the trader reacted to that event, right? So now we need to look at either deal reached or no, and that's where the things will come into the effect. Either if the deal reached, probably will not see that happen, the market might settle down, the oil price might come down. If the deal is not reached, then there might be oil price going up, or all instrument might get crazy. So this is the current event that you can see. So therefore the sentiment here is still there is no deal. Because there is no deal, that's why this statement came out. So and so this is on X. So therefore at the moment it's still uncertain, right? There is no deal yet. So if this deal not reached, there might be further that attack or whatever happening might come in much more difficult way. So with the sentiment analysis, we are seeing that the market is still in an uncertain or in confusion, there I would say in another way. So if it is in confusion, then especially the market doesn't like confusion. This is how the market really, and whenever you see that there is a confusion, the market will get crazy. This is how the market think, right? I'm trading for years and I understand every movement in the market, why they are happening. Market is kind of living organism, right? So if you look at the price action, is every moment there is a tick, right? So if you looked at in your hand, there is always a pulse, right? So the market has also a pulse, constantly pulsing. It's a kind of living organism, so because every human is giving the input on the market. So the market also is a part of the living organism, because all those human pulse is getting reflected in the market, right? Because the people, when they are feeling fearful, they are trading in one way. When they're feeling hopeful, trading in the other way. So it's the reflection of the internal pulse is reflecting in the market with either smaller pulse, slower pulse, or the higher pulse. So therefore, now we need to understand as a trader how to trade those situations, because we can't quit trading because it's that how we do, and therefore we have to understand to navigate those situations in the market. And if you are a trader who really want to become a successful trader, these are very crucial, important lesson that you need to look at. Now, that being said, we have quite a few votes that you can see on the poll, and 59% bullish. If you still haven't cast a vote, I would appreciate you to do so. Let me see, because in 95% of the cases that we saw that the poll results came out to be exactly. So we will be making our trading decision based on the poll, right? That's why I started the poll first. So you will be looking at bullish. I was also looking at bullish. The market is bullish at the moment. So yeah, I'm waiting. Can you cast a vote here? And the more people who say which way the market is go, we will be trading in that direction. So it's crucial. I would like to see that everyone is watching this session cast a vote, guys, and then I will be publishing that results here on the chat, and we will be trading in that direction. So this is our system that we will be doing here every single day. We will be looking at because what I have seen in long live session experience, 95% of the time that comes with especially the direction. It might not be correct in other situation, but in this situation, because the traders are very, very strong. So let's see that what's happening. Awesome. And cool. Now here is if you look at, this is the 1 hour market structure, and 1 hour market structure, if you look at, this is showing that there is a bullish engulfer is being formed here in this lower time frame. And I'm looking at here from the 4-hour perspective, this is also showing that there is a uptrending market structure here. And also looking at this 30 minutes price action, you see I'm looking at also the 30 minutes price action. Yep, so you can see the market is here showing that uptrending move. And in this market, if you look at this, this is also the daily, and I would like to look at also the daily market structure. You know, I have posted also few analysis earlier. Now, this is where there is an inverted head and shoulder potentially being printed here. And the price is just looking at the daily market here, guys. The daily high is here, the previous daily high for 555, and with this previous daily high at 4555, we can see that the market is trying to break that high. So there are two possible scenarios here now. Is one, the market to break that high straight going back to the upside to create a new higher high. The other possible scenario is that after breaking this, coming back below here to around to 4500 level, right? And then off that potentially to go back again to the upside. Thank you. Now this could be one way. The reason is, if you look at in this area here, you see this is there is a trend line here on this lower time frame, and off this trend line, okay, so if you look at this trend line here, that's a key trend line, and in that trend line, okay, if the market is breaking that high, we might see another wave of potential pullback or continuation, depending on how the market structure is building its momentum. All right, so first let it cross 4555, which eventually we could see shortly after, and then to return again back down here or continue to rise, depending on what kind of price action it is forming. That is what we are looking at in this market to give us an entry opportunity here in this market. Awesome. So you got a technical, we got a fundamental, we got a pull. Let's wait for the right opportunity. In the meantime, let's have just a little louder music. We'll come back to trading again just after a breath, right? So you need to breathe as well. Okay, that has broken back to the upside here in that market. Okay, so it has crossed that high as we discussed, and now because it created a new high, we'll see that either the market is coming now for this deeper drop here, or it's still continuing back up here. Also, it is not unusual to see the market is crossing 4600 and creating a new higher high here. Okay, so got it. Now it has a breakout that you can see after this consolidation. Now with that consolidation, there is a breakout that expecting now this market to potentially to respect that support and then to continue to trend. In the meantime, traders, if you haven't joined the Telegram channel that you can find link below this video, you can stay connected there by joining the Telegram channel. Now, what you can see, 71% thinks bullish, and the market has significantly reflected that. And okay, with this movement, what you can see, the market slowly breaking that low and potentially coming back to this support and continuing its downside momentum here in that market. And that is key. All right. So in the meantime, you can stay connected by joining the free Telegram that we have for more update as well as the education, where you can see regular update, trade ideas, and also Sunday's Zoom session. You can join there. If you're joining the Sunday Zoom session, you might be able to get access to the whole lifetime mentorship or membership to the academy, where also you can access trading tools, especially trend trading tools that I'm using. If you look at this one, for those who were on this tool, this is 10 trading entry engine, where if you look at that, especially if you are a trader who love risk managed trades, if you like to trade with the smaller risk, bigger reward and long-term perspective, this is the tool that perfect for those who love trend trading. Now, many of the members already in this tool. This is a trading view indicator. Not only the indicator, but also it is giving me directly trade alert generated from the trading view with entry, stop loss, and take profit target. And also I can set alert on my mobile phone using this tool. If you like this tool, make sure you like this stream, and I can give access directly here because all of my tool is free for the members. The only thing is that this tool is not enough for you to only to use. You need the lesson with the tool to use so that you can trade based on the education is given. So you need one single lesson for this tool before you use it. So to get access to that, the only thing that make sure that you are having a member. Now at the moment, the only way you can get into the mentorship or the membership is on Sunday's Zoom lesson, Zoom session, where I'm sharing all my trades, updates, weekly analysis And during that time, for those who are dedicated, join in that Zoom session, will be able to directly get access to the academy. So here, if you are keen to that, so make sure you stay connected by joining the free Telegram. I've shared with you the link in the live chat, where stay connected there and keep it pinned at the top so that you are not missing any of the update being posted there. Now, so today, any entry on gold? Yeah, of course there will be. I see that the market is trending and we are looking at for an entry here. It is in a bullish market. You're looking at gold flying and didn't take us with. That's fine. Where it will go fly, it will be within the chart, right? It can't go above, or it can't go out of the chart. So no worries. Anytime the market will be, we are on it, right? Now at the moment I'm looking at this 15-minute chart. We might be able to find an entry. So this is another way. So I also discuss more often about our trading psychology session and trading psychology training. All right. So keep in mind, traders, this is key. Never experience FOMO, because this is my own experience that I have seen when I was trading. Come on. Okay, so this is, if you look at when I was trading, I have gone through the same process, right? FOMO is very common. Now, if you want to avoid FOMO, the only way that you can, you need to like think that it's not gonna go anywhere, that there will be trade. That's how you can avoid FOMO, and that's where you can gain freedom as a trader, because FOMO is a big deal, and it's also a kind of social conditioning. FOMO is a social condition. Now here is the support. The market is trying to break below here, and we might be able to find an entry in that zone that you can see that we are looking at. We'll see. And this is 5 minutes candlestick pattern closing. Okay. Let it break below, but we see there is a breakout trying to break above. Currently the market is pretty volatile. And I will be interested shortly for a potential entry in that area. Okay, come on. We might see the market is coming in this area here, right? This is a liquidity zone. The market moves from liquidity to liquidity, right? That's where the interesting things happen. Okay, so it's after this 5 minutes closed as a pin bar, it's trying to break below. Now there might be deeper pullback here. This is what I was looking at for a drop. Now if you look at here, this indicator works in all time frame. This is also a successful move that you can see here in that area. If you're using the indicator, make sure you're not using an all time frame. Use a specific time frame and must use the lot size calculator. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I know. That's good. Having fun is where you started to trade. I know. I'm also making fun. I know that you guys doing very well. Fun is important. If you really, because trading is one of the hardest thing that you can find in this planet Earth, right? Trading is not easy, but if you have fun and you are, dedicated as a trader, that's important to have fun. Well done. Now, okay, 1 hour bullish engulfer from this 10 exponential moving averages going back to the upside here. This is a bullish engulfer and it's closing in 3 minutes, this 1 hour price action. And that might be, if this 1 hour candle close somewhere here as a long wick, you can expect now both directional buys. Until I'm fully clear about, you can't be 100% sure about something, but you can have a higher probability, right? It's all about probability trading is. Keep in mind, guys. Not only probability, sometimes you can look at the quantum probability, right? Everything is quantum at some level, depending on where you are sitting at. So the trading is probability. All right. So if trading is probability, then understanding probability will take you where you want to be as a trader. Now, this is the move that you can see here, and they're expecting further downside here. There is a liquidity. There is a narrow candlestick pattern here. That might be this is a liquidity candlestick, and after this consolidation, this move, the chances that it may even come back below here, or you could see the continuation. So we'll be waiting for, this is the 1 hour candle close coming in few minutes, in 3 minutes time. And with this 1 hour candle close, this is what we are looking at here. What I think the market still may drop back below here. And if it drops down, I don't want to also trade against the trend, right? This is also very important as a trader. Always look for the trend, guys. Look for the trend and then trade with the trend. Imagine that there is a river, okay, and then the water is flowing, and then flowing, let's say, from upstream to the downstream, and then you put a boat here and then just trying to go this side, this way. What will happen? You're gonna waste all your energy, but you'll not go anywhere. But if you go in the direction of the trend, place your boat and just relax, and the flow will take you there. Trading with the trend in the same way. All right, so here is the narrow candlestick pattern, and the market is coming here in that area. Okay, this is 15 minutes, pretty long rejection. After this kind of rejection, I will not be looking to go long yet, because we have 40 seconds for this candle to close. But we can see that this 15 minutes candle is a bit of a stronger rejection of this higher price. Thank you very much. So releasing the pool results, we had quite a few votes. We'll be starting another one. So if you look at 64% bullish and 36% bearish, and you saw the market has in fact reflected that move here in that area. Okay, so this is a candle close on the 1 hour, and with a pretty long wick candle, we can see that there is a long wick bearish engulfer. This market might be having that move, what I think now, for this deeper pullback. And the previous, here is the narrow doji. If you look at the daily, which is also the daily support. Now the market might be, I'd like to delete those levels here. And looking at this zone here, and also we can see that the 15 minutes perspective, and with this narrow pin bar on the 15 minutes chart, that we can see from here there is an initial move followed by the market is having that pullback here, and with this pullback, as if you look at, it's now breaking that low, eventually could come back to this support, or we could see further lower, and that's where we will be looking at our entry. So I would like to level these two zone, because this is where the market, the first move started. If the market breaks this low or touch that as a double bottom, creating an A pattern, and then we could see rejection back above, or we might see extension below to this previous another liquidity zone, which is the daily support, where the market daily candle opened, and the market may eventually bounce off this level here from that support, and that could be an important area of value. How is the sentiment looking at now at the moment? Okay, so you got some have we discussed that one here. Now the previous one that I looked at as well, negotiations is done. Okay, okay. Now if the market is not breaking below, instead creating bullish rejection of this, then set for another move back to the upside. In that case, we will be looking at buying. Now after this 1 minute candle, we would like to see if this next one is coming down or again moving back up, depending on how the candlestick pattern close. If this one is coming down, then you can look for further downside here. We see that there's a smaller green candle being formed, so that might be taking this market further here in that area, which is that looking to see a bullish move potentially back above or coming further down. Now if you look at here, this is 30 minutes candlestick pattern, still not close. 15 minutes, which is still not close. So we see that there is some buying pressure coming. So there's a buyers here, and that buyers is to look at here. Here I see there is a potential for upside. Let's see, or we could see that deepen. The market structure looks pretty bullish here now at the moment. So we will be still remaining upside, leaving this as a support in this area. Thank you. Okay, so we see that after this initial move, here it is creating potentially an upside bias. But as if you look at, you see there is a long wick. This is a 15 minutes candlestick pattern. The first 15 minutes candle of this 1 hour move, and we see there is a buying pressure coming. Therefore, if this market drops again to this 4445, might be able to find a possible entry here in that market. I would like to see this market didn't test this high before it drops. So if it didn't test this high and drop down, we might see the market is going back again to the upside because this liquidity has not been tested yet. The market moves from liquidity to liquidity. Therefore, looking at here for a key zone to look at entry. You see that this is now another liquidity zone. If the market didn't test this level and drop down here, which we might see a testing, but if without dropping here, we can expect it to go up again. That's how the market does over and over again. As I'm looking at in this area here, cross that high, and potentially you could see that break below, and that's a key zone that you are looking at. And from the 1 hour, we see in the first few minutes, the market has tested that high. So showing that the chances for the market to go up further is higher. So you see a rejection candle being formed. Let it drop, and then we will be placing a pending order for this imbalance. This is what I always like to see. The market has created an imbalance. I have already shared a small educational lesson. Guys, don't miss out to subscribe to the channel because every day I'm posting smaller lessons. And if you are keen to learn and grow as a trader, these are key lessons. So if you look at how do you trade imbalance in the market, keep in mind that when you see the market is doing like that, okay, this is very important. If you look at the market is doing like that, let's say in a downtrend, but you saw a big pole has created in the past, okay, that means a stronger move. And in those situations, suddenly one big move, little, not very, that's a very high chance to go up again like that. And this is an imbalance. So this is what I'm looking at here. If you look at, see, this is a drop. And now if it does that, create this kind of structure and drop back to this support, we will be looking for that, trading that imbalance back to the upside here in that market. Looks like it's testing Friday's high now. Okay, let's look at here. So on Friday, I think it's already tested Friday, Thursday. It's done. Now it's going to test the weekly high. The market might, if you look at the weekly price action, you will see different picture. You see what happened? Weekly, there was a long doji here. Okay, so this is a weekly doji. And with this weekly doji, the market here has earlier with the Asian session initial drop, and then it reversed, right, back above here. And with this bounce back to the upside from the weekly, if you look at the market has reached to this level here. Now, if this market cross this high from the weekly, now there are two possible scenarios can happen, as there is a, this is a war situation. Gold is very highly volatile, and you see that the market go this way, that way. as we discussed, the sentiment is very important. If you understand the sentiment, it's going to be much easier for you to trade. So if you see that that post came on Truth Social, right? I'm verifying, man. Come on. Okay. So with that sentiment, because this will be a big catalyst for the market move now, let's understand how the energy and metal might move based on this sentiment that has come out. The United States of America is in serious discussion with a new and more reasonable regime to end our military operation in Iran. Great progress has been made, but if for any reason a deal is not shortly reached, which it probably will be, and if the Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all their electric generating plant, oil wells, and Karg Island, and possibly all desalination plants, which we purposefully not yet touched. This will be in retribution for our many soldiers and others that Iran has butchered and killed over old regime's 47 years. Region of terror. Thank you for attention for this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So that so there is a, if you look at now, if we analyze the sentimental perspective, how the market is going to interpret this news from the experience, what you can see here, there are two things can happen. One is, if the deal is reached, okay, then potentially there will be more flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz, and that will drop the oil price down, right? So if the oil price drop, then if you look at now, currently there is a lot of crisis around the world for oil, that will resolve, and we could see that oil is coming down potentially. We could say, at least if it isn't fully recovered, we might see some kind of recovery. Even coming to $75, $80 could be a good oil price bargain for that in that situation. However, if the deal is not reached and these things happen, that means, breaking, like the obliterating energy plant, oil well, Karg Island, then we might see that okay, so in the first case, if the deal is reached, oil might come down, gold might go up. Okay, so because they usually goes mirror of each other. In that case, we might see that with this weekly candlestick pattern, if the deal is reached in recently, we might see that gold is going like that, going back again to the upside. Because when the energy will slow down, that means will price come down and the economy becomes stabilized, or gold again might go up here. However, if the deal is not reached and those things broken, that means energy plant and other facilities, then oil price might go up further. Okay, and with that oil price going up, we might see either gold is moving in a sideway, or gold also might go up. So, with the deal reached is very, I would say that, predictable in some sense, at least for energy to drop, oil price to drop, and gold price to, in that case, gold price might stable most of the instrument. However, if the deal is not reached, then oil price might go up and gold price also might go up. Both, because depending on where the economic situation is. because in a time of uncertainty, usually gold goes up, dollar goes up, all things, that means energy, metal, that goes up. Usually riskier currency come down. So you might see that euro, British pound, they might become bearish, which is still, we can see that bearish at the moment. So depending on what kind of situation. So this is how we can look at the current market context. Now at the moment, for the time being, for us to be able to trade, as there is some, I would say that some kind of negotiation discussion in going on. Oil, we saw there was a significant bullish. Now it's moving in a side. You see that this is how it does. So when there is a negotiation, nothing happened, oil remain sideways, and then when something happen, if it is not in the direction of oil, it's gonna bounce back up. Now if we look at in that context, now gold is of this Asian Open also remaining bullish at the moment. So for the time being, we can see that the market is on gold is bullish, and depending on later how it happens. And also there is later today, this is the first day of trading week. Monday is very volatile, especially all those instruments. And I like to reading on Monday as well, and also the Friday. Looks like it's okay. Have a look at the 5 minutes and 15 minutes chart. It come back to test it and looks like it's holding. So you might see a move to the upside. Yes, this is what we can see. It's holding on. Yeah, it basically tested. This is a healthy trending market where the market tested the previous resistance, which is turning support here. And resistance turns support where we can see that there is a trend going on. Okay. Here is a bullish engulfer that has created of this support, trying to break back to the upside. This is the 30 minutes price action, and we can see the market is showing its momentum back here. Okay. So I'm preparing for a possible entry in this area here on XAUUSD. Just question, why don't you take the trade since the already breaking resistance then turn to support? Okay, good point. The reason I didn't take the trade is there is a saying that trade your plan, plan your trade. Okay, this is how I trade, because before I take the trade, I must do a plan. This is old school, that saying, but it's applied in all school. So trade your plan, plan your trade. Now, see, if you remember when we are discussing here, I was waiting for this support to be tested, right? The market has come here, but it didn't come here. So we have to change the plan again. That's how it works. That's why you'll see that if you want to take, in a trading day, you can take 20 trades, 30 trades. But as a trader, how many trades do you need? 2, 3. We had 1 trade earlier. Basically, it's total 3, but I would say 1 because in 1 after 1. 1 winner, 2 winner, 1 loser. But the thing is that the goal here is to enter as per the plan. So this is how I do. I create a plan. If the market come here, shows rejection, for example, I will be looking at entry. So that way we have a pre-existing concept or idea or plan in the mind that gives more reliability of that entry. If market doesn't come, then I don't enter. Okay, this is a kind of negotiation, right? This is not negotiating, it's negotiation. So basically you are not negotiating that plan that you have taken. But if you enter anywhere, which sometimes happens, but this is how you need to, like the real traders trade. So you have a plan and you don't negotiate that. That is trading plan. Thank you very much. Welcome. Okay, now here if you look at, and which is the support level, right? Now if you look at, the price didn't come here, it rejected off that level. At the moment, because it didn't come, we can't wait the whole night. If the market goes there, we have to change the plan again. We need to make another plan, and we'll be waiting for that plan to fulfill. If it doesn't, we'll be changing the plan, but we will not be going without plan. That's how trading is. What broker do you use? And I see you are about $50 different. I use $50 different. What do you mean by $50 different? Even didn't open any case. I use the best broker. If you guys look at the link below in the description, the broker that I'm using. Thank you. I had a question from one of our members. Is this creating a double top? I don't think so. It's trending, so potentially could be moving in the direction of the trend. So it could be that we saw double bottom. Usually, you know, the first thing that I do, actually, I'm sorry, I need my glasses. We are close in price. Thank you very much. That's fine. All good. You know, it happens sometime. Make error. Doesn't have to be sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I was that's cool. Not a problem. All right. So here is what you can see in this area. The market is from that. We might see now, you see our plan was here now. Now this is the second level that I'm looking at. It might not come here. We place another levels. So if you look at the 1 hour, it's the first 30 minutes, which is forming a doji. Now the middle level is what, if this 30 minutes candle closed as a doji, depending on how it is closing, we might see that the price is testing that support here. And that's what we are looking at. I'm stuck on a sell at 4500. Will it come down? That's a good question. Now, it might come down, but before it come down, it might go up further. There is a daily 10 EMA approaching, which is at 4600. So even if it might come down, it might try to push up further, depending on what's your risk management. If it is very smaller lot, you can hold on. That I would say that, yeah, probably you can, depending on what strategy you have used, of course. It's forming another the 30 minutes candlestick pattern. Again, the 4-hour candle closing in 1.5 hour. And this 4-hour candle is important because the price action might even come back again to this support. It's not unusual to see the market to come back here before it reverses back again. I always look for the best level possible. Okay. In trading, the more choosy you will become, the better trade you will find. Because there will be a lot of trading opportunity throughout the day, throughout the session. It's not necessary to take all of them, but the one that you can take is the one that will make a big difference. Alright, so we have 3 minutes for the 30 minutes candle to close. That's what we will be looking at the next trade. So you're looking at another 30 minutes candlestick pattern close here, which might take this market potentially back above, or you could see with a double top deeper pullback, depending on how the candle closed. It's important to look at. So there might be, this is what I was waiting for. If you look at, there is a green move. It needs at least one little higher time frame red candle. If you look at the 1 hour here, the first 30 minutes we can see drop and bounce back up. They're expecting in the next 30 minutes again to retest and then to return again back above. It's trying to move in between in that support and resistance area, which is showing that there might be an upside bias here. Form an inverted head and shoulder. Okay. We see that there's a candle close, and I'm preparing for a possible entry with if you look at here in that area. So this is the current swing low. So if you look at here, this is an uptrend on the 1 minute chart, a more pullback and the more pullback, and the more expecting that a break of structure. So without break of structure, we cannot look for an entry. This is my strategy. I always look for a break of structure for entering a trade. So this is the current level that we may be able to see that break of structure for us to be able to enter 4561, right? In that case, we can target this level if the market breaks below here in that area. So like this, when the market is trending, what we are looking at that in those trending market for the price action to retest the key level, and that is what we are looking at for an entry. Cool. Here we're looking at in this area for another retest. With this trend line at the moment, here is the market is creating this structure, creating this trend line where the price action is potentially showing up to be upside here. Looking for buy from the breakup structure. It's a bull market. It's an uptrending market. So we are looking at buying opportunity here in this market. And slowly we can see it's breaking out of that level, and with this couple of narrow doji here, we may see this market to eventually going back here where there is a high area of value. Now the current trend line that you can see is at this level in the trend line that we are looking at for this possible uptrending move here. Very good, thank you very much. Looking for sell, yeah, looking for buy. It's still showing that uptrend. Now if the market didn't break this 4579, instead breaking any of this trend line, that's where you will be able to see a high probability trade setup here in that market. Okay, so we are looking at this market to show up its pattern in that zone. And breaking off that trend line, if we see the market has broken out of this trend line, we are looking at in that area for this price action to show and give us an entry back to the upside. And we see that technically, since the market open, we have seen that with initial market opening, there was a downtrend, and with the downtrend, the price, in fact, it was, if you look at the 4 hour here, I'm going to this intraday, this candle dropped and immediately bounced back to the upside. And if you looked at our previous weekly forex forecast, this is what I was talking about, this market potentially to break below and to reverse. And the market has almost followed the same pattern. Now at the moment we can see that it's approaching the previous swing high. And with that swing high move, we are looking at for us to be able to enter again. And to enter again, the only thing that we need here is proper breakup structure. That is where we'll be able to see, once we see the breakup structure, proper price action confirmation from those breakup structure. Can you analyze USD JPY in 4 hour time frame? Yeah, so you had earlier I posted also one update in the premium group about the USD JPY. So USD JPY since market open, we can see that USD JPY started to break from this trend line. Now USD JPY long-term uptrend, and if you look at the weekly here, there was back-to-back 2-3 weeks. The market has shown this uptrend here, and because it has shown that uptrend, this break below can create an opportunity, what I think, for buyers. Now if I look at the 4 hour, also there is a symptom here. The symptom is, looks like very interesting. There are some ways you can understand, in most cases, what is a false breakout or what is a valid or real breakout. So especially if you see that one single move without any green candle formation in the middle could be a sign of false breakout. But because it's coming a very new place, I would consider it is coming for this retest of this previous trend line, previous resistance. So if you look at here, in the past, this one acted as resistance, and it entirely broken back to the upside. So this move, because it has entirely broken back below, chances for extend below, and that might create a new opportunity. As with the current geopolitics, USD/JPY is a long-term bull market, so any break below also we can look for possible buying opportunity. But it is not a good idea to enter a buy from a falling market. Once it confirms is uptrend, that means reversal, we can look for going long. So therefore I'm looking at on gold here in that area again. With USD/JPY, we'll be waiting for the proper confirmation, and we'll look for the entry here on gold that I'm looking at here. So we see that it still didn't break from the trend line, and until we see the break from the trend line, here is the patience is the key. Thank you very much. Patience is very important in trading, guys. This is another very important trading psychology lesson that I would say is absolutely important, that if you are trading long term or short term, psychology is one of the biggest part of your trading success, even as an investor, trader, anything. And trading psychology develops when I would highly encourage you to watch the live session. Even it feels sometime not watching, or sometime going to a period of boredom sometime happens, but I'd say that looking at that will, if you watch the live session constantly for 30 days, you'll see how it directly influences your trading psychology, and it will be also helpful in many other areas in life. Absolutely. Buying level mentioned, please, I can't see. So no, we are not buying level here at 4561, but not by blind. We want to see that a break of structure, and then we will be looking for that buy. So I'm looking at the 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, the multiple time frame, and the 1 minute. So if the market breaks below this structure, that is where we will be looking at that entry here in this market. Okay, so we are progressing towards the support level. And this is important. volume is up, and then it will go down again, looking for an entry, not in the market but in the music. We see there is a head and shoulders being formed. That might take that market little lower here. It's coming nearly to this support here, and once it reach that support, this is what we are looking for, that entry. Once the market managed to break below, okay, so going back again to where the market is creating. So this is a 5-minute candlestick pattern that closed with a long wick. On this lower time frames are where you're looking buy or sell. So you are looking at for potential buying on gold of this support, and with this support, because this is a key support level, that support is important because the market, if it breaks below here, there is a fair value gap, and with this fair value gap, because there is a fair value gap, there is a chance that the market is going to have that reversal of this. If it breaks below, there might be a slide below, because it's gonna be a breakup trend line here. In that case, you can see that, and this is our plan. Let it break below first, this swing low. I would be much more enthusiastic to buy if this move is a one single drop. Okay, that could be good buy here. Not good buy, but good buy. But if it drops down back below, then we might be able to find. Now, because it form a head and shoulder, we have to be a little bit cautious for our entry. Let it drop down, and if we see that confirmation, we can look for pending order for this potential move up here. That is what we are looking at in this market. Hope that makes sense to you. There is a sell signal here, but I'm not going to take it because it's a, again, it's the trend. If we look at here, This is a buy signal. We didn't have in the plan, so we didn't take it. I'm looking at here the market to break below and then to give us that entry. Okay, so here with this channel formation, there is a possibility that this market, we want to see that channel is broken back below. This is the previous swing low, and if it does, then you will be looking at that entry. Volatility is very important to look at. You see they're pretty volatile here at the moment, and so this is 30 minutes candlestick pattern, also creating a long, potentially a doji or pin bar. I'd like to delete all those level again. We'll be drawing a fresh zone as the market structure is changing. This is what I called beginner mindset. The market is constantly changing and evolving, so it is always a good idea is to look at from the fresh perspective, because as a human being, we normally keep what I would say that the glimpse of something and then keep in mind and forget everything else, right? Let's say we thought here it's going up, but when the market changes structure, we need to change it, right? This is how everything works. We actually don't see the real thing, we see only the shadow, right? So that's why when we, for example, when the market was trending here, but constantly it's changing, so we need to always look at the updated market structure. Such realme entry buy side. Okay, we are looking at here in that area. Okay, before the candle close, this is the 15 minutes. It's potentially forming potentially a pin bar or a doji, which could break to the upside here potentially. Okay, looking for an entry. So waiting for a break below, it didn't. We have 2 minutes for this 15 minutes candlestick pattern to close. Can we look for buy entry? Because if it is closing as a narrow doji, we have a chance for this market to break out again. Let's see in this 2 minutes time what kind of market structure it might be forming. The only thing you can see, it is going to also close a 1 hour candle, and this 1 hour candle, I will not be very hopeful to create another one big long bullish candle to the upside without proper pullback, and that is why now I'm not going for this one again, because there's already move and the market didn't haven't done that pullback yet properly. So this 15 minutes doji, once it's closed, we could see one possibility, a green candle like that. The other possibility is coming well below here. So with this possibility, I would keep 50-50. Therefore, not a very high probability for the upside. So there is a 1 hour candle close, and there is a chance for a rejection of this level here. Okay, so it's trying to break above, and that it eventually could take it back to this daily high, which is also the weekly high. Okay, here is the level that we can see in this area, which is key support level, and Welcome traders. Of this key level, it's coming for this deeper pullback here, and that might take this market well below to this support level. And okay, so we saw the previous support was not broken here, and now it created a new higher, but it's not a very strong uptrend either. So you may see that deeper pullback again, as we are just progressing towards the NY session. Usually, I hesitate to buy from an extended, that means overextended market. So it is always a good idea is to wait for the market to become in an overextension to come back to in a zone where you can see that it became oversold in an uptrend. So if you look at this is an uptrend. In that uptrend, it is now overbought market, right? Though I'm not looking at RSI, but if you look at RSI, you might see that similar situation, right? Let's check the RSI. So you see that, yeah, even without looking at, we can see that it's an overbought market. Right? So you need to look at all confluences. That's where you start to see a big difference. So this is if you look at, this is an overbought market, and so losses 300, cover my loss, very good, well done. You have cover your loss, which is very good to hear. The first, whenever you cover loss, just take a deep breath, right? That means take a small break, and then wait for the next entry, because emotion goes really high when you lose or win big. So take a break and then be normal, and then get yourself on the track before you take the next trade. All right, here with this support after break of this low, again trying to push that back above, and I'm still not looking because we're looking at 4561 for this entry here. With the current sentiment, to see if we enter, if there is any possibility for a drop or break. Trump on Iran will completely obliterate of all of Iran's electric generator plants. So we discussed that one. So that means there is a post on the Truth Social that the United States of America is serious discussion with a new and more reasonable regime to end our military operation in Iran. Great progress has been made, but if for any reason a deal is not shortly reached, which it probably will be, and if the Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants, oil wells, and Karg Island, possibly all desalination plant, which we have purposefully not yet touched. This will be in retribution for our many soldiers and others that Iran has butchered and killed over the old regimes 47 years. Reign of terror. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Okay, so as soon as we saw that this post came out, there was a breakout of the market. And how did that impact it on oil? Now oil also doing the same thing. If you look at this is the 4-hour candlestick pattern, and in the first few hours we saw that, and you can read the market absolutely. You see, whenever this post came, oil start to buyers bought this long wick, and that's how you can understand the reasoning part of why the market does the way it does. Guys, this is another very important, not only in trading, in every aspect, right? Reasoning is a very higher energetic way of living, because most people live based on conformity, right? So the opposite of reasoning is conformity. Conformity means that what you are doing, you don't know what you do, or without knowing why you are doing. That is conformity. That means we are told to do, so I have to do. I don't know why I'm doing. But when you do, but you know why you do, that's reasoning. So in trading, in the same way, that's why, according to research, those who had a high level of intellectual curiosity become a better trader. So it's essential part of being a trader that you have a high level of intellectual curiosity. Curiosity starts with not in answer, but in question. So that's being said, if you look at this is a long wick. So why this long wick candle created? Because the deal is not reached and the oil price is pushing up of that level. So which is showing the market is moving in that direction. Therefore, this is a fact now that we could see, if deal is not reached, the market might go up further. Now if you look at that's how I look at the market, and it works because I'm trading for a very long period of time. It's important that you always look at from technical, sentiment, and emotional perspective how the traders are thinking. So another one came just a couple of minutes ago. There's a percent on Iran oil. US will take control over state over time. So there is some news from him. So basically, it's the same directional. Trump was it's 4 hours ago. So this is the latest. That one is latest. So this is some of the influence in the market that we can see. Now I'm going to this one here again, gold. So that also contributed the bullish move on gold. Right now we can see that after this candle close, now it's here creating few long wick candlestick pattern. What's this? 15 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay, now are you going for an entry? Let's see that how the market is created. Okay, it's approaching 4561, and the buyers look stronger here. So we are only looking at buying. We had our previous pool also showing that buying. I'm preparing for a possible entry, as our plan is here for the market to break or touch this level. Because it's maintaining an uptrend, we can look for buying, or at least coming near to that support. If it breaks below, we will be placing a pending order in that area for this possible move. When it is a smaller move, if we, according to plan, if we can even catch 60-70 pip, not bad, isn't it? How many pip you need to for a day? If you can trade with a bigger lot, it's only few people, right? In the meantime, traders, have you subscribed to the channel? You can do so, and also don't hesitate to join the Telegram, where also every Sunday I'm conducting Zoom session, where from the Zoom session you will be able to see every system that I'm trading, where through that system also you can access, for those who will be joining the Zoom session, you may be able to get access to the academy with giveaway, so you can look at that. I'm sharing with you the Telegram link here in this chat. You can stay connected by joining the Telegram, where you'll find the link for the Zoom session on Sunday in this time frame during this time of the live session, where you can join me to get access to many of my exclusive trading tool, indicators, robots, mentorship, as well as the signal group entry. So I've shared the link. You can stay connected there for the upcoming Zoom session, which is on Sunday. Now, with a long week here, it's trying to break that low. Not a very strongly showing any bullish momentum here. What lot size do you so tell me entry boss? Okay, is it possible to buy side entry? Not yet. If you look at, you see the market volatility here less. All right, we need to see that higher volatility. What lot size do you generally use, coach? It's based on the risk management. Okay, this is another important part. Lot size must be based on the risk management. Okay, you can't enter lot size by blindly, because every trade, you know, this is another very important. So each trade, you need to have the same amount of risk. Okay, so if you look at, let's say one trade $100 risk, the other trade bigger stop loss, but you need $100 risk as well. The same amount of risk for both trade. So therefore lot size will automatically adjust itself. If this one is, for example, 0.5 lot, it might come down to 0.3 lot, because your stop loss gap became bigger than your other side. So that's how you can adjust your lot size automatically based on your risk management plan. Now, what I'm looking at here of this double bottom, the market might try to break that high here, which could eventually cross this zone to create a new higher high. There's some down move potentially coming. This is a bearish price action in that area, but this is established uptrend. It's very, this might be a little difficult to sell in an established uptrend. So if we have $1,000, yeah, okay. So if you have $1,000, your lot size again will determine by how many PP your stop loss and how much risk you want to take. If you take, let's say 1% risk or 2% risk, now if you take one trade with 20 PP stop loss, for example, your lot size is 0.1 lot. But if you take 40 PP stop loss, your lot size will get half, right? To keep the risk the same amount. Okay, so you can, that way you can identify. Use lot size calculator, or if you are using PC or laptop, use a lot size calculator tool. That must be. It created this bearish move with multiple liquidity sweep. Okay, so you're going to see a change of trend. Now, possibility to entry. I always hesitate to trade against the trend. I would rather wait for the market to get overextended, because if we tell, the only trade that we can take here to sell, okay, it dropped down to this support. Now we will be waiting for a pending order. We're placing a pending order, and then we will be entering the trade. Thank you, no problem at all. We will be entering. Okay, this is the 30 minutes price action, and okay, it creates a bullish engulfer from the 1 minute. Very stop loss here, placing a pending order. It's near there, but I will place a pending order above this high. Okay, so it's gonna be a buy stop order. So I placed a buy stop. If the market goes up, we will be entering this trade, because I will not be selling this. It's a long-term uptrend. So I'm entering by market because it just started to move here. My trade is entry, my trade is active. Okay, I'm on, and if it drops down for deeper liquidity grab, that's a different story, because I have a very tight stop loss. I don't want to run a trade if it is not going in my favor. Only with the current volatility, only 80 pip is nothing. But because it has shown that there is, the market may come here again, but we need just one single breakout here for us to be able to take profit, because I will not be running for a very extended profit target. As long as it's going for us to give us a decent amount of pip, happy to take for the first trade of this session. We had a previous one during our London session, and I'll give a big shout out as soon as I will be closing the position with the running profit anytime. Here we got some up here, 18 pip. All right, so the previous trade was break even during the London session in the premium group. This one, once we can close in profit, gonna be successful. And there is some sideway market. We cannot expect a big move here, so therefore because there's a breakout, we're gonna see the one more candle back up. Come on. Okay, so there is an imbalance here. Patience pays off, and okay, 25 pip, and I am going out with this one here, 30 pip, 35 pip nearly. I'm out. 42 pip. Okay, got it. I would like to see a feedback in the live chat. Thank you. Could we drop further, sir? Thanks for that. I've taken profit. All right, so wonderful way start the week profit. Yep, absolutely. And I have some lovely lucky members came on Sunday in premium group. Now this week, I know each week I will be taking only few members in the premium group, because we have few spots each week, and I would like to take only the dedicated members who are passionate about trading. So if you are available on Sunday to join the premium Zoom discussion, where you will see every details of our trade, P&L, statistics, and we'll see that if you are right fit for that. If you're right fit, you might be able to get access to the academy for the signal strategy as well as the everything, and but without charge, of course. But you have to be the right fit. So if you think that you are right fit, then join on Sunday's Zoom session. We will be able to get access to our exclusive classes and trading tools, strategies, indicator, and all the trading ideas that you need to learn and grow as a trader. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed yet, you can do so. You can find where for every trade that I'm opening here in this academy to get access to that. Now, going back here on the current, so you can see after creating pretty long wick candle here, it's getting some the market is basically getting prepared for increased volatility that you can see here, right? 30 minutes candle close, and you can see that after the candle close, it's preparing for higher volatility. And this is a strongly, if you look at pretty strong trending market. As I mentioned earlier, if you looked at, if you followed along the way, this is what I was discussing, that I hesitate to trade against the trend, and that's why I was waiting for this market to bounce off that level, because trading with the trend is the most profitable trading system that you can ever have. When you're trading with the trend, you can always remain in the upside here. And we had successful entry. I got 45 pip. Can you write how many pip that you have received here? I appreciate your feedback. Okay, got it? It's time to enjoy. So it got that rejection back below of this, and so the market has started to break below. So we now with this break below, the market may, but you could see that deepen further here. And that deepening might bring that market to daily support. I would like to delete those levels to see how the price action is evolving over time. And this is a very important support area that you can see here in that market. This is the 4500 is another liquidity zone. This drop may drop to this level, or to this level. If it drop back to this daily support here, we'll be able to look for again another buy entry. in this market. This is my plan for this session here. It was an incredible session with all of you guys. This is the first session of the first day of trading week, and this week now I wouldn't sell here because it's an uptrending market. Always trade with the trend. So as this is NFP coming up, if you look at the calendar, it's just the beginning. It's not just the beginning, right? Beginning of the week, beginning of everything. So if you look at later today, tomorrow coming up, another if you look at today is, it's already 31st. Tomorrow, that means basically it's after tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow in JOS job opening, and then followed by ADP non-farm employment change, cores retail sales, followed by NFP on Friday, right? And I would be happy to trade NFP with all of you guys. Every NFP we have multiple trades, and we will be trading with this NFP as well in this market, in this live session. So don't miss out to stay connected by joining the channel here, by subscribing, just pressing that notification bell so you are not missing all the updates, education that I am posting every single day. That being said, thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you again very soon, trading live together. Until that, stay well, stay happy.